Welcome back to the Blade Lab. Today I have a first impression video, not necessarily a review, but a first impression of the new Breed EDC Clydesdale knife. I have previously opened the box up. I just got it today, but I opened it up. I'll admit it. I looked at it. But this is what you see when you open it up. It comes with this cool sticker. Always like a good sticker. It has a COA, says Clydesdale, has a serial number. This is 247 out of 400. Steel is 14C28N, hollow ground, satin finish, stonewash titanium handle, blackwash titanium hardware, and the OEM is Kubey. QC by Mark, and I'm assuming that is Mark Perez, who is the designer and the as far as I know, the principal of New Breed EDC. Package also comes with this extra clip insert if you want to reverse the clip, and a nice microfiber cloth. It's the sort of woolly type that I prefer to the silky type. And beneath all of that, I believe this was in a baggie, but I've taken it out, is the Clydesdale knife itself. So let's just dispense with the box. Might need this card over here. So yeah, let's see what we got here. This is an interesting knife because it is a sort of a unique design, as you'll see more when I open it up, but it's also a good value proposition in my opinion. Why? Because, let's get it out at the way, it costs $125. These are still available as of this recording, which will be posted soon. And yeah, it just has good materials. This is the handle is titanium. These are milled for some weight relief. It has this, I'm assuming that these are Cerakoted or PVD black hardware. It's a titanium pocket clip. As I said, the blade is 14C28N. Just examining it right now, there is absolutely no pivot lash, which is some knives, if you sort of tug on the blade when it's folded, you can feel a little play. There's no play here. So that is solid. The centering looks to me to be spot on. It has a titanium backspacer, good sized. So let's open it. Oh, sorry, yeah. So it also has this, it has a reversible clip, and it has the plates, filler plates that you can put in there. And as I showed earlier, the extra one if you want to put it on this side. I'm a righty, so I won't be doing that. Obviously, it has the blade hole, which is accessible from the thumb side or the reverse side, and it has a front flipper tab. So let's open it up and see what it looks like. Oh my God! So yeah, so that's the sort of unique feature of this knife is the blade. It has this sort of snout on the top, and it's kind of a, well, I guess it's a Wharncliffe style blade. The grind is, it's got a machine satin hollow grind, which goes up, I would say maybe a little higher than halfway up the blade. There's a lot of flat here, which I'll talk about. There is, if you can see it, there's some nice beveling inside the blade hole, so it's not super sharp, and yet it is grippy enough to deploy. Very pokey tip. You can see, get some idea what the hollow looks like. It's pretty, you can sort of feel it. It's a pretty deep hollow grind. I have measured the behind the edge thickness, and it is 0.0135 inches, or 13.5 thousandths of an inch behind the edge, which is excellent geometry. If you want to lay the edge back, you can do that. This one came at I measured it at 20 degrees on one side and about 22 and a half degrees on the other side. The initial sharpness was good. It was, I measured it 175 grams on the best tester, which is well above average for the factory edges that I've tested over the years. Certainly not as sharp as I would have it if I sharpened it myself, but that is something I will do soon. Else? I did strop it without, obviously I haven't sharpened it, but I did strop it, and I got the best score down to about 130. And there you're getting into really pretty decent range. So, as mentioned, 14C28 steel. Some people think that's maybe the best budget steel you can get. I know Laren Thomas, who I mention frequently because he's kind of the blade steel expert. He thinks it's one of the best budget steels you can get for the money. It's real tough. It's a very tough steel. Edge retention is good, not great. Sorry for all these noises going on in the background. Yeah, corrosion resistance is also pretty good. It's a stainless steel. So let us go to the size. You can, my hands are about average, slightly above possibly. So you can sort of get some idea that way. Let's do some size comparisons to other knives. The well-known Spyderco Paramilitary 2. If we do it butt to butt, you can see that the Clydesdale is a fair amount shorter. Blade length wise, it's actually about the same probably. Cutting edge, yeah, also about the same. If we got a different one this time, we'll throw in a Demco AD 20.5, which you can see they are about the same length overall. Cutting edge, again, the Clydesdale is going to have maybe an extra ½ inch of cutting edge compared to the AD 20.5. The depth of the grind, the primary grind, is about the same on these two knives, even though the Clydesdale is obviously a way taller blade. Thickness, it's a little thicker than the AD25, which is a pretty skinny knife, compared to the PM2. It's going to be about the same thickness. So there's your size. I can give you the exact measurements according to the website. It says 7.625 inches overall, blade length 3.3, handle length 4.3 inches, weight 4.7 ounces. I weighed it. Mine comes in at actually 4.6 ounces, if that makes a big difference to you. Yeah, everything else I believe we've covered. So let's talk about the action of this knife. Everybody likes a knife that's fun to deploy, and this one is awesome. All the deployment methods work very well. The reverse flick is very comfortable. You can do it. I'm doing that with the meat of my finger. You can also use your fingernail. And because it does have that bevel on the inside of the hole, it doesn't, it's not going to, it has enough bite to, you can grab it with your nail, but it's not so much that it's going to shave your nail down and create like a divot in it. Thumb flick is also not quite as easy, but it never is on a whole knife. So, but it's reliable. Once you figure it out and carry the knife for a little while, you'll get used to it, and it works just fine. Likewise, the front flipper is very good, has good leverage, pops right on out. You can get it with the old, the knife is a little wide, and the flipper is kind of pretty far out there, so getting it with the index finger is a little trickier, at least with my hands. But I know that if I carried it for a while, I'd be doing it with no problem. You can also sort of kind of do it like a top flipper that way, just grabbing the top of this, and that's because thankfully the jimping on the flipper tab goes all the way around, and it's pretty. It's a nice jimping. You know, it's a nice compromise between wide and narrow, and it's got a nice bite to it. And you can see there where it goes all the way around. While we're up here, I don't know if you can see it on there. I guess you can't, but this is a inset liner lock, steel liners. It appears to, yeah, it just has the steel liner on the lock side. The other side is titanium, and it has some milling to it. Let me see if sometimes it helps. Get a white surface behind it. Hopefully you can sort of see in there. Yeah, so it has pretty good weight relief. It's running on bearings, of course. There's also some weight relief on the lock side, which is somewhat unusual. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. So that all is good. I think the acoustics are excellent. I love the sounds it makes. Ergonomically speaking, the handle is obviously quite neutral. It's has a slight contour to it, which is great. Contour always makes the handle more comfortable. I mean, it's not a deep contour, but it's there, and I think it makes a difference. So yeah, in the hand, I'm really not feeling that clip at all. Even when I bear down, you can. It doesn't have a real front finger choil, but you can sort of choke up on it a bit and sort of put your finger on this flat area here. If you just wanted to get closer to the base of the blade, and that's also pretty comfortable. If you want to do the reverse grip, comfortable. If you want to do the sort of pull grip, you can kind of feel the clip in this grip, but let's be honest, I never hold a knife this way. So yeah, the jimping on top when you're cutting with a knife is quite functional. This is going to be a great knife for sort of detail cutting. If you want to sort of cutting cardboard or cutting paper, you can sort of put your finger up in this little divot. Gives you really good control. So yeah, it's going to be a great cutter that wise. The edge itself appears to be dead straight, so it's not going to be a great knife for sort of chopping things on a cutting board, but you can do it. You just have to sort of elevate the cutting board so you can have room for your fingers underneath. Yeah, so I like almost everything about this. Any quibbles I might have are really just quibbles. They're sort of design choices. One would be the choice to stop the grind about halfway up the blade. Personally, my preference is always to have a taller grind, just because it gives you better cutting performance. It's not going to bind as much in material, but it is what it is. I think it looks cool anyway. You have the sort of horizontal, I guess it's a machine satin here, and then you have the vertical machine satin going down towards the blade. I think that looks pretty cool. There is, I don't know if it's going to be able to pick it up in my lighting, but there's something with the finish of the ground portion of the blade. So you have the vertical satin, but there also appears to be some like horizontal lines sort of going down the blade this way, and I'm not sure what that is from. I don't know if that was some sort of polishing step, some part of the finishing process, but it's not the best. It's not the best. You wouldn't want it on a on a $500 knife, but on a $125 knife, I can certainly live with that compromise for the value that it represents otherwise. I think that pretty much covers everything I wanted to say about this knife at this time. Oh, I should have mentioned earlier, but the blade stock on this was .11625, I believe, inches. So it's a pretty thin blade stock, so that'll help with cutting performance. And I think that covers it. So yeah, I recommend it. I'll put a link to their website in the description. This is a knife that I purchased, as always, with my own funds. I have no affiliation. I don't know Mark Perez. It's just my honest opinion. Take it for what it's worth. Thanks for coming, and see you in the Blade Lab next time. Take care.